Hi friends, my name is Aqil Ahmed, and in this particular video tutorial we will look at one of the common error in SSIS in lookup transformation that cannot map the input column to the lookup column. So the agenda of today's video tutorial is that we will see how to resolve the error cannot map the input column to the lookup column because the data types do not match in SSIS. So without wasting further time, let's jump to the demo. In my D files location, I got a CSV file, emails.csv file, and this particular file contains some data like ID, first name, last name, email and gender, and I also have a SQL Server table in the database with the same columns. Okay, so I want to write some code for example for the incremental load, like before loading the data into the SQL Server table from CSV file, I want to check if the data already exists or not based on the ID column. So for that particular thing we can use the lookup transformation. So let's see how we can proceed, and we'll see if we will get any error or not on the lookup transformation. So first of all, we just need to drag and drop the data flow task into the control flow window. Data flow task is especially used if you are going to import or export the data. Because our source is a CSV file, so we will be using the flat file source here. Configure the flat file source. Need to make a connection to the source CSV file. Browse the file. The file type is CSV, so I can select CSV from here, select the file, click open. If I preview the data, so the data seems good here, so I can click OK. So we have configured the flat file source. Now it's time to use the lookup transformation. So I can just drag and drop the lookup transformation into the data flow task, and then I can connect the flat file source with the lookup transformation. I can configure the lookup transformation here because I want the non-matched records to be inserted. So from the specify how to handle the rows with no matching entries, I will select the redirect rows to no match output. Okay, the cache mode I will leave to the default option, which is the full cache, and then I can go to the connection. From the connection I can actually create a new connection. So the connection already exists, so I can use this connection. Okay, now we have two options. From the use a table or view, either I can just directly select the table like email table, or I can write the use results of a SQL query. So I always prefer the use results of a SQL query. The reason is, if you select the first option, so it will load the full table into the memory, because we are using the full cache mode. So it means that when the package will run, before actually running this data flow task, if you have selected the full cache mode and if you have selected the whole table, then the whole table will be loaded into memory. Sometimes the enough memory can't be available on your machine. So in that scenario, if the table is huge, then the lookup transformation can fail. So it is advised that you should try to use only the columns, select only the columns those are required, for example in your scenario. So in my case, I just want the ID column because I want to do a join between the ID column of the source with the ID column of the destination table. So that's why I'm only interested in the ID column. So this way it will only select the ID column from the table and not the whole table. So I just selected the ID column from here. Okay, now I can go to the columns, and then I just need to map the ID column, the available input column. This column is from the CSV file, and the available lookup column, so these columns are from the SQL Server table. So I just need to connect the ID from the CSV with the ID from the SQL Server table. So it is giving me the error that the cannot map the input column ID to the lookup column ID because the data types do not match. So it seems like their data types are different. So I can click OK. So if I click OK, so at least it will save the select query, whatever query I have written. Now what I need to do, I need to compare the ID from the source with the ID from the SQL Server table. Because this is a flat file source, so by default when you create a flat file connection manager, so it gives the data type as varchar50 to all the columns. So if you go to the advanced, so you can see that the data type is given as varchar50 here. Okay, but if you go to the SQL Server table like email table, so I can write sp_help email. And if I check the data type for the ID, so the ID is of type integer. Okay, so in the source it is varchar, while in the SQL Server table it is integer. Okay, so that's why it's not matching, it's different. So now we have two options. Either we can convert this ID from the SQL Server table to the varchar50, okay, or we can convert, we can add a data conversion transformation maybe here and just convert the id to the integer so that both can match, you know. The id should be id or any column, that whatever column you are using in the join, they have the exact same data type. Okay, so maybe I can just show you both the options. So suppose if I want to convert the data type here, so I can write like cast id as varchar 50 as id. Okay, so it will convert the id from integer to the varchar 50. Now if I go to the columns and if I map the columns now, so they will be mapped, you know, because now the data type is matching. But suppose if you do not want to change the data type here, okay, so that might be the case that if you do not want to change the data type here, then the another option is that either you can just change the data type in the flat file connection manager. For example, you can go to the flat file connection manager, go to advanced, and from here instead of the string 50 you can use the 4 byte sign integer and click OK. Now you need to just click edit. It's saying like, do you want to replace the metadata of the output column with the metadata of the external column? So I can say yes, please change it. Now the data type of the id got changed from the source itself. Okay, so from source it's id and now from SQL it was already id. So now we can easily map them as well because it got changed. Okay, so yeah, this was one of the generic error that might be useful for the, you know, for the beginners in SSIS, that like how we can resolve this particular issue. Yes, I think that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching the video, and if you like the video then please click the like button, do subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon and click on all so that you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much.